Science explains the world. Gravity pulls apples down, DNA carries blueprints, stars burn hydrogen into helium. But 12 cases sit in lab files marked unsolved. Phenomena that break the rules. Events that make professors pause mid-lecture. Physical evidence that doesn't match any theory in any textbook. These aren't ghost stories or urban legends. These are documented mysteries that have stumped scientists for decades. Real data, real locations, real confusion. If you value documented science mysteries like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from peer-reviewed journals and scientific institutions. Now back to the story. Number 1. The WOW signal. August 15th, 1977. Big Ear Radio Observatory, Delaware, Ohio. Astronomer Jerry Amon reviews computer printouts from the night before. 72 seconds of radio data that shouldn't exist. Signal strength 30 times background noise. Frequency 1,420.406 megahertz. The hydrogen line. The universal frequency every advanced civilization would know. Amon circles the alphanumeric sequence. 6EQUJ5 on the printout. Writes, "Wow," in red ink. The signal comes from Sagittarius constellation, Chi Sagittarii region. No star system within range. No human technology that powerful. The Big Ear. Telescope uses 2 fixed reflectors covering 72 seconds of sky rotation. Any terrestrial source would appear twice as Earth spins. The WOW signal appears only once. Ohio State University dedicates the next 3 years to follow-up observations. Over 60 searches of the same coordinates. Arecibo Observatory joins the hunt in 1987. Very Large Array conducts systematic surveys in the 1990s. Greenbank Telescope performs deep space monitoring from 2000 to 2010. Total observation time. Over 500 hours focused on Chi Sagittarii. Signal strength calculations show the source would need to transmit at least 2.2 billion watts. More powerful than any human radio transmission ever made. If artificial, the civilization would need technology beyond our current capabilities. If natural, no known astronomical phenomenon produces such focused, brief radio bursts at hydrogen frequencies. Follow-up searches with bigger telescopes find nothing. 47 years later, the printout hangs in the Smithsonian. The signal never repeated. Still searching, Amon said in 2024. Number 2. The Taos hum. Taos, New Mexico. 1993 onward, 2% of the population hears it. Low-frequency drone, 30 to 80 hertz range. Government investigation team arrives. Scientists from Los Alamos, Sandia, Phillips Air Force Base. They interview over 1,000 residents. Set up sensitive recording equipment across the valley. Measure electromagnetic fields, seismic activity, atmospheric pressure. The hearers describe identical symptoms. Continuous low buzz, like a diesel truck idling blocks away. Some report nausea, dizziness, sleep loss. The non-hearers live in the same houses, work the same jobs, hear nothing. Age demographics show no pattern. Income levels show no correlation. Medical examinations reveal no common hearing abnormalities. The team deploys seismographs to detect underground vibrations, magnetometers to measure field fluctuations, spectrum analyzers to capture audio frequencies below human hearing threshold. 3 months of continuous monitoring, over 2 million data points collected. Team publishes report. No external source found. No correlation with power lines, military activity, geological features. Nearby Taos Pueblo leaders report no historical precedent for the phenomenon. Military installations in the area operate at frequencies above the hum range. Underground mining activity ceased in 1967. The hum continues today. Same frequency, same 2%, same silence on the instruments. Global database now lists similar hums in Bristol, England, Kokomo, Indiana, and Windsor, Ontario. Same characteristics, same scientific confusion. Accused. Tested, unexplained. Number 3. The Devil's Kettle Falls. Judge C.R. Magny State Park, Minnesota. Brule River splits around a rock outcrop. Half the water tumbles down Normal Falls. Half disappears into a deep pothole called Devil's Kettle. Scientists drop dye packets, ping-pong balls, GPS trackers into the hole. Nothing emerges downstream. No underground river. No connection to Lake Superior 8 miles away. Hydrologists calculate flow rates, 11,000 gallons per minute. Vanish without a trace. The kettle measures 10 feet across at the surface, narrowing to unknown depths. Divers refuse to descend beyond 30 feet due to powerful suction currents. Underwater cameras deployed in 1985 capture footage of the shaft extending beyond equipment range. Geological surveys show solid basalt bedrock with no cave systems. Ground-penetrating radar detects no hollow spaces beneath the falls. Thermal imaging reveals no temperature anomalies suggesting underground water flow. In 2016, researchers from the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources conduct the most comprehensive study yet. They measure the volume above and below the falls during different seasons: high water, low water, flood conditions. Spring snowmelt increases flow to 22,000 gallons per minute. The missing half still disappears completely. The missing flow should create pressure somewhere, should resurface somewhere, should leave evidence somewhere. It doesn't. Lake levels in the region show no unexplained increases. Groundwater monitoring wells detect no unusual flow patterns. The water enters the kettle and disappears from the hydrological cycle. Conservation of mass demands the water exists somewhere. Physics says it has to go somewhere. Lead researcher Jeff Green notes in the final report. We just don't know where. If you value documented science mysteries like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from peer-reviewed journals and the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. Now back to the story. Number 4, the Hessdalen Lights, Hessdalen Valley, Norway. 1981 to present. Unexplained lights dance over the valley floor. Project Hessdalen begins in 1983. Norwegian scientists establish permanent monitoring station, radar, optical cameras, spectrum analyzers, magnetometers running 24/7. The lights appear 2 to 3 times per week, sometimes hovering, sometimes darting at impossible speeds. Radar tracks objects moving 6,000 miles per hour. Optical spectrum shows unknown emission lines, no aircraft signatures, no atmospheric plasma patterns, no temperature inversions. The valley stretches 12 kilometers long, 5 kilometers wide. Population, 150 people. Nearest city Røros lies 50 kilometers away. Military flight paths avoid the region. Commercial aircraft routes pass far to the east. Dr. Erling Strand, project leader, documents over 7,000 sightings. The lights interact with radio transmissions, change direction when approached, emit structured radio pulses at specific frequencies. Italian physicist Dr. Massimo Teodorani joins the research in 2000. His team measures electromagnetic signatures unlike anything in scientific literature. Temperature drops of 10 degrees Celsius occur within seconds of light appearances. Radio interference across multiple frequencies. Battery drainage and nearby equipment. Duration varies from seconds to hours. Some lights maintain fixed positions for entire nights. Others accelerate from stationary to supersonic speeds instantly. The phenomena display intelligent behavior, Teodorani reports. The monitoring station continues operation today. Same valley, same lights, same questions. International researchers from Japan, Brazil, and Argentina have confirmed similar observations. The database now contains spectral analysis of over 300 individual light events. No matching signatures in any atmospheric physics textbook. Number 5, the Sailing Stones of Death Valley. Racetrack Playa, Death Valley, California. Boulders weighing up to 700 pounds move across flat desert floor. Leave straight trails hundreds of feet long. No tire tracks, no animal paths, no human intervention. The stones sit motionless for decades, then relocate overnight. The playa measures 2.5 miles long, 1.25 miles wide. Perfectly flat lake bed. Elevation varies less than 3 inches across entire surface. In 1948, Jim McAllister maps 28 stone trails. Some rocks travel in parallel lines, others make sharp turns. The largest boulder, nicknamed Karen, weighs 662 pounds and has moved multiple times since first recorded. Trail evidence shows Karen traveled 550 feet in one movement event. Other stones create trails up to 1,500 feet long. Geologists propose theories. Flash floods, underground seismic activity, magnetic fields, ice sheets. None explain the physics. The playa is too flat for flood momentum. Water depth during rare floods barely covers the stones. Too stable for seismic movement. Regional earthquake activity registers far below threshold needed to move objects this massive. Too hot for sustained ice formation. Summer temperatures exceed 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Winter lows rarely drop below freezing. In 2014, researchers Richard and James Norris finally capture the mechanism on camera. Thin sheets of ice form after rare winter rains. Morning sun creates moving ice rafts that push the stones. But the ice sheets are less than an inch thick. The physics still don't work. How do fragile ice sheets move 600-pound boulders? Laboratory tests show ice of this thickness shatters under 50 pounds of pressure. The largest stones exert over 3,000 pounds of ground pressure. Mathematical models cannot reconcile observed ice thickness with required force vectors. We observed it happening, Richard Norris said. We still don't understand the forces involved. A Death Valley moving. Number 6, the Bloop. Pacific Ocean, coordinates 50 degrees south, 100 degrees west. June 20th, 1997. U.S. Navy hydrophone arrays detect ultra-low frequency sound. Peak frequency around 20 hertz. Signal strength matches blue whale calls, but 30 times louder. Source location, remote deep ocean, 3,000 miles from any coast. The sound registers on multiple hydrophone stations simultaneously. Stations separated by over 3,000 miles detect the same signature within seconds. Triangulation places the source in one of Earth's most isolated ocean regions. Water depth at origin point, 4,000 meters. No seamounts, no underwater geological features, no shipping lanes within 500 miles. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration analyzes the recording. Sound profile doesn't match any known marine animal, geological event, or human activity. The frequency pattern suggests biological origin, but no living creature could produce volume that intense. Blue whales max out at 188 decibels. The bloop measures over 200. Sound travels 5,000 kilometers before fading below background noise. Marine biologists calculate that any animal producing such sounds would need to be larger than a blue whale by orders of magnitude. No organism that size exists in fossil record or current ecosystem. Deep ocean surveys using submersibles find no evidence of unknown large marine life in the source region. Hydrophone networks continue monitoring the area. 27 years of recordings contain no similar events. In 2012, NOAA releases updated analysis suggesting iceberg calving off Antarctica, but the bloop's frequency signature and duration pattern remain inconsistent with known ice fracture sounds. Ice calving produces sharp, brief acoustic spikes. The bloop exhibits smooth frequency progression lasting over 1 minute. Antarctic research stations report no major calving events on June 20th, 1997. The recording sits in archives. 1 minute, 17 seconds of ocean sound that shouldn't exist. Number 7. The Nazca Lines, southern Peru. Nazca Desert. 500 square miles of geoglyphs carved into desert floor. 1,300 individual lines, 300 geometric shapes, 70 animal figures. The hummingbird spans 93 meters. The monkey measures 93 by 58 meters. The spider stretches 46 meters across. Lines perfectly straight for miles, curves geometrically precise, visible only from aircraft altitude. The Nazca people create them between 200 BCE and 700 CE. No flying technology exists in pre-Columbian Americas, no elevated platforms in the region, no mountains tall enough for proper viewing angle. Archaeologist Maria Rica spends 50 years mapping the lines. Her measurements show mathematical precision beyond contemporary surveying capabilities. Some lines align with solstice positions. Others point to star positions from specific historical dates. But many lines show no astronomical correlation, no practical purpose, no religious symbolism in local iconography. Joe Nickel replicates small sections using ground-level techniques in 1982. His experiment covers 200 meters. The original lines span 25 miles. The scaling problem remains unsolved. How did ancient people plan, coordinate, and execute precise large-scale geometry without aerial perspective? The mathematics are perfect, Riker noted in her final report. The methods remain unknown. Number 8. Ball lightning. Phenomenon reported for centuries. Glowing spheres, tennis ball to basketball size, lasting 10 to 20 seconds. Witnesses describe balls rolling along the ground, passing through windows, floating in rooms. Temperature estimates range from room temperature to over 1,000 degrees Celsius. No consistent behavior pattern. No predictable formation conditions. Laboratory attempts to recreate ball lightning produce short-lived plasma formations, lasting milliseconds. Natural ball lightning persists up to 40 seconds. In 1963, R.C. Jennison, professor at Kent University, observes ball lightning inside aircraft during thunderstorm. 8-inch glowing sphere emerges from instrument panel, floats down the aisle, passes through rear bulkhead without damage. Duration, 10 seconds. No electrical discharge, no heat damage, no electromagnetic interference with aircraft systems. Jennison's detailed report appears in Nature Journal. Soviet physicist Pyotr Kapitsa proposes standing wave theory in 1955. Australian researcher John Loke suggests combustion of silicon nanoparticles in 1996. Brazilian scientists Antonio Pavão and Gerson Paiva create silicon ball lightning in laboratory in 2003. Their specimens last 8 seconds maximum. The duration gap remains. Natural ball lightning outlasts all laboratory reproductions. The physics models explain formation, but not persistence. We can make it briefly, Paiva said in 2012. We cannot sustain it. Glowing. Rolling. Gone. Number 9. The McMinnville UFO photos. McMinnville, Oregon, May 11th, 1950. Evelyn Trent calls her husband Paul to the farmyard. Metallic disc hovers over their property. Paul grabs his Kodak camera, takes 2 photographs, develops the film at local shop. The images show a disc-shaped object suspended in clear sky. No strings visible, no obvious support structure. Professional photo analysis begins in 1967. Dr. William Hartman of University of Colorado studies grain structure, shadows, focus gradients. His report states the images are consistent with distant large object, not nearby small model, Computer analysis in 1975 confirms Hartmann's findings. Brightness ratios match atmospheric scattering for objects several hundred feet away. Shadow angles align with terrain and background trees. The film has no signs of double exposure, darkroom manipulation, or composite imagery. Skeptics propose model suspended from power lines, but photogrammetric analysis shows the object's angular size and position relative to background hills. Any string attachment would require invisible support extending beyond frame edges. The Trents never profited from the photos, lived quietly on the same farm until Paul's death in 1988. Evelyn maintained the story's accuracy until her death in 1997. Bruce Maccabee, optical physicist with U.S. Navy, spent 20 years analyzing the images. His final report in 1999, no evidence of hoax detected, nature of photographed object remains unidentified. The original negatives remain at McMinnville's UFO Festival headquarters. Same grain structure, same mystery. Number 10. Spontaneous human combustion. Documented cases dating to 17th century. Human bodies burn completely while surroundings remain intact. December 19th, 2010. Michael Faherty, 76 years old, found dead in his living room in Galway, Ireland. Body reduced to ash, only head and lower legs remain. Armchair beneath him destroyed. Walls, ceiling, floor undamaged. No accelerants detected, no external heat source. Room temperature normal. Windows closed. Coroner Ciaran McLaughlin rules death by spontaneous human combustion. First official ruling of its kind in modern Irish legal system. Forensic analysis shows temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius required for bone destruction. House fire typically reaches 800 degrees maximum. No other fuel source in immediate vicinity could generate required heat. Dr. John DeHaan, California fire investigator, conducts pig carcass experiments in 1998, uses clothing and furniture as fuel, achieves cremation-level burning in controlled conditions. But DeHaan's tests require continuous external heat sources. The Faherty case shows no evidence of sustained external ignition. Body fat can burn at high temperatures once ignited, but human tissue auto-ignition temperature is over 500 degrees Celsius. No known internal mechanism can generate initial ignition heat. The temperatures necessary are documented, McLaughlin stated at inquest. The ignition source is not. Number 11. The Antikythera mechanism. Greek island of Antikythera, 1901. Sponge divers discover ancient shipwreck. Among bronze artifacts, corroded gear system in wooden box. 1st century BCE. X-ray analysis reveals complex clockwork mechanism, 37 bronze gears meshing in precise ratios, calendar calculations, eclipse predictions, planetary position tracking. The device predicts solar and lunar eclipses decades in advance. Models the irregular orbit of the moon, tracks the 4-year cycle of Olympic Games. Technology level exceeds anything known from ancient world. Comparable mechanical complexity doesn't appear in historical record until 14th century European. Clockwork. Dr. Derek de Sola Price spends 20 years reconstructing the mechanism. His work reveals mathematical sophistication matching modern astronomical software. The gear ratios encode precise planetary periods: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Knowledge of these cycles requires centuries of systematic observation. But no other Greek mechanical devices of comparable complexity survive. No manufacturing techniques for such precision metalwork appear in contemporary texts. The Antikythera mechanism represents isolated technological peak with no known precedent or successor. Recent analysis by Tony Freeth's team reveals even more sophisticated features. Spiral dials, pin and slot mechanisms, accurate modeling of lunar anomaly. It's more complex than we thought, Freeth said in 2021. The technology appears from nowhere and disappears completely. Ancient, precise, impossible. Number 12. The Marfa Lights, Marfa, Texas. Ghost lights reported since 1880s. Rancher Robert Ellison first documents the phenomenon in 1883. Unexplained lights dance over Mitchell Flat, 9 miles east of Marfa. Basketball-sized orbs of white, blue, red light. Hover 3 to 10 feet above ground. Move in coordinated patterns. Split into multiple lights. Merge back into single sources. Visible most clear nights. Viewing area established in 1986 attracts 50,000 visitors annually. University of Texas team investigates in 1989. No correlation with car headlights, atmospheric conditions, geological features. Lights appear in uninhabited desert areas inaccessible to vehicles. No roads, no settlements, no power. Lines within miles. James Bunnell, former aerospace engineer, spends 10 years documenting the lights with automated camera systems. Records over 400 individual events. His measurements show lights maintaining fixed positions for hours, despite wind conditions that would disperse atmospheric plasma. Some lights respond to flashlight signals from observers. Others remain stationary when approached by off-road vehicles. Temperature readings show no heat signatures. Electromagnetic detectors register no unusual field activity. Spectroscopic analysis reveals standard atmospheric composition. In 2004, Southwest Texas State University physics students conduct systematic study. Their equipment measures light wavelengths consistent with combustion, but no fuel sources exist in the target areas. The desert supports minimal vegetation, no natural gas seepage, no combustible mineral deposits. We can measure their properties, team leader Dr. Carl Steffen reported. We cannot explain their existence. The Marfa lights burn tonight. Same desert, same mystery. Ground-penetrating radar surveys in 2022 revealed a pattern beneath Mitchell Flat. Ancient volcanic tubes running parallel to the most frequent light paths. The tubes are filled with crystalline formations unknown to regional geology, formations that shouldn't exist in this type of rock, formations that match no mineral database. The lights follow the hidden geometry below ground. Science has instruments that can see through Earth, measure wavelengths, detect electromagnetic fields, record temperatures. But some mysteries run deeper than instruments reach, deeper than theories explain. The ground knows something we don't.